Did you know the world's largest wedding cake weighed over 6 tons? That's roughly the weight of an elephant. And while that was for a special event, everyday cakes are made in massive quantities inside factories. From birthday parties to weddings, cakes are an essential part of celebrations. But how do factories churn out thousands of these treats every single day? Let's dive into the magical world of cake making on an industrial scale. So where do we begin? Every cake starts with a few essential ingredients: flour, sugar, eggs, butter or oil, milk, and leavening agents like baking powder. But in a factory, forget measuring cups and small bags of flour. We're talking about silos holding thousands of pounds of ingredients, each ready to be dispensed with pinpoint accuracy. Instead of a baker cracking eggs by hand, factories use liquid egg tanks, where eggs are pre-cracked and pasteurized for safety. The sugar is measured in precise amounts to ensure the cake is neither too sweet nor too bland. The same goes for flour and milk. Every ingredient is funneled into enormous mixing vats via pipes and conveyor belts, ensuring exact proportions for a flawless cake every time. Have you ever added too much flour to your homemade cake and ended up with a dense, dry mess? Factories don't have that problem. Their automated systems are so precise that each batch turns out just right. Light, fluffy, and perfectly consistent. Once the ingredients are measured, they head into industrial mixers the size of a small car. Just think about an enormous whisk whipping up batter at turbo speed. These high-powered machines mix everything into a smooth, airy batter, much faster and more efficiently than a home-stand mixer. But here's the thing: over-mixing can ruin a cake. That's why these mixers are carefully programmed to stop at the perfect moment. If mixed too much, the batter becomes dense and tough. If undermixed, you might get lumps or uneven baking. Factories have laser-precise timing to ensure the batter stays light and fluffy. And have you ever thought about how cakes get different flavors? Factories add flavoring at this stage: vanilla, chocolate, red velvet, or even fruity flavors like lemon or strawberry. Some factories even introduce micro-air bubbles into the batter to create an even lighter texture. Once the batter is perfectly mixed, it's time for it to be portioned into baking molds. Factories use high-speed batter dispensers that squirt just the right amount into each mold, ensuring all cakes are the exact same size. Different cakes require different molds: round for classic birthday cakes, square for layered sheet cakes, or even custom shapes like hearts or stars. The molds move down a conveyor belt, lined up perfectly like little soldiers on their way to greatness. Did you know factories even pre-treat molds with special non-stick coatings? This prevents cakes from sticking and ensures they come out with smooth, perfect edges. Now comes the part where cakes go from raw batter to golden, fluffy perfection. Instead of your standard kitchen oven, factories use massive conveyor ovens that stretch over 100 feet long. These ovens operate at precisely controlled temperatures, baking cakes evenly without any hot spots. The key here is consistency. Every cake must be baked to the same golden brown color and the same moist texture inside. Unlike home ovens that sometimes leave one side a little darker than the other, these industrial ovens use rotating air circulation for an even bake. Plus, these ovens never stop. While you wait 30 minutes for a cake to bake at home, factory cakes enter the oven on one end and exit fully baked on the other. It's a non-stop cycle of baking, ensuring thousands of cakes can be made per hour. Another cool fact: some factories even bake cakes with steam. A bit of added moisture can create an extra soft, spongy texture that's absolutely irresistible. If you've ever tried to frost a warm cake, you know the disaster that follows: a melting, sticky mess. That's why cooling is an essential part of the cake-making process in factories. Freshly baked cakes come out of the oven piping hot and go straight onto a cooling conveyor belt. These belts pass through a cooling tunnel, where cold air circulates to bring the cakes down to the perfect temperature. The goal is to cool them just fast enough to prevent excess moisture loss, but slow enough to keep them from drying out. If cakes are cooled too quickly, they can become dry and crumbly. If they cool too slowly, they can get soggy from trapped steam. Some cakes require flash cooling, where they pass through a rapid cooling system that locks in moisture while keeping the structure intact. This is especially common for delicate sponge cakes that need to stay soft and airy. And here's a secret. Many factory cakes are pre-cooled to just above freezing temperatures. This makes them firmer and easier to handle when it's time for slicing and decorating. Store-bought cakes have such smooth edges because they're chilled slightly before cutting. Some high-tech factories even use robotic arms to transfer cakes between cooling stages. This ensures minimal handling and keeps each cake perfectly intact. Once the cakes are cooled, they move on to one of the most crucial steps: slicing. You might be picturing a baker with a knife carefully cutting layers, but in a factory, this process is super high-tech. Cakes are transported via conveyor belts to precision slicing machines equipped with ultra-sharp rotating blades. These blades slice through the cakes like butter, ensuring all layers are identical in height and texture. Some factories take it up a notch by using laser-guided cutting machines, which guarantee that every layer is perfectly even. But slicing isn't just about looks. The even layers ensure a balanced cake structure. The thickness of each layer is predetermined by the type of cake being made. Sponge cakes might have thinner layers, while dense chocolate cakes may require thicker slices to hold up. Some factories go even further and use vibration-assisted knives. These create tiny, fast movements to slice through delicate cakes without compressing them. This technique ensures the cake stays fluffy and airy, even after being cut. With the cake layer sliced to perfection, it's time to add the delicious fillings. Whether it's rich buttercream, fruit jam, or silky ganache, this step is where cakes get their signature flavors. Robotic arms or precision nozzles pipe just the right amount of filling onto each layer. This is a carefully measured process. Too little filling, and the cake might be dry. Too much, and it could slide sideways. Everyone has had a homemade cake once where the filling just oozed out. Factories avoid that by ensuring the perfect ratio of cake to filling. Some high-end cake factories even have dual-layer filling systems, which allow them to create multi-flavored cakes in one go. One layer might have vanilla cream, while another could have strawberry jam. This means more variety without additional production time. Now comes the part that turns a simple cake into a masterpiece: frosting and decoration. For this part of the process, factories use high-speed frosting applicators that smoothly coat each cake in a matter of seconds. These machines work much like giant piping bags, evenly distributing frosting over every inch of the cake's surface. Ever wondered how store-bought cakes always look so uniform? Some factories use airbrushing techniques to achieve a consistent and glossy finish. This creates that bakery-fresh, picture-perfect look we all love. Others use spinning turntables while frosting is applied to ensure even coverage. Decorations are another world of precision. Some factories have robotic arms that apply intricate designs, including swirls, lettering, and floral patterns. And if you're a fan of sprinkles or chocolate shavings, those are applied in a controlled sprinkle chamber. Imagine a shower of tiny decorations falling perfectly in place. If the cake requires fondant, this is where sheet rolling machines step in. These machines roll out perfect fondant sheets, which are then draped over cakes with precision, leaving no bubbles or wrinkles. Once the cakes are fully decorated, they're carefully transferred to the packaging section. Some cakes are immediately placed in airtight plastic containers, which prevent moisture loss and keep the frosting intact. Others go through flash freezing, where they are quickly frozen at extremely low temperatures to preserve texture and flavor. This method ensures cakes taste just as fresh when they're finally thawed and eaten. Factories also use modified atmosphere packaging, where the air inside the package is replaced with a mix of gases that extend shelf life. This keeps cakes from drying out or going stale too quickly. Now that the cakes are baked, layered, frosted, and packaged, they're ready for the final step: shipping. Cakes are carefully loaded onto temperature-controlled trucks that ensure they remain fresh and intact. Some cakes travel hundreds or even thousands of miles before they reach stores, but thanks to careful handling, they arrive looking as perfect as when they left the factory. Factories operate on a just-in-time delivery system, ensuring cakes arrive at stores exactly when they're needed. No old, stale cakes sitting in storage. And just like that, we've followed a cake's journey from simple ingredients to a delicious, beautifully decorated treat ready to be enjoyed. So, whenever you bite into a store-bought cake, you'll know just how much precision, science, and creativity went into making it perfect. And let's not forget, whether it's a birthday party, a wedding, or just a random craving, cakes bring people together. What's your favorite kind of cake? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.